It wasn't that long ago that when you thought of Buick, you thought of your dad's Buick probably. You know, the Roadmaster, a big American classic car. Not any longer. This is the new face of Buick. It's the Buick Regal GS, and it is the hot rod of the Buick brand. With a turbocharged and all-wheel drive platform, this is the one you want if you want something that's sporty and fun. Coming up next on the Fast Lane Car. Under the hood is GM's EcoTech 2-liter turbocharged engine that puts out, get this, 259 horsepower, but here's a big number, 295 pound-foot of torque. And for 2014, this is paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission or a manual, but the big news is you can get it in all-wheel drive. No more torque steer. You know, one of the things that Buick always strives to do is to make a car luxurious, and by luxurious, you can think and read quiet. So I hope it sounds good, because when you're sitting in the passenger compartment, you really can't hear much coming from the exhaust. Now, style-wise, the Buick Regal GS is much more aggressive. In the back, there's a new taillight configuration. There's also integrated exhaust tips. I love these 20-inch wheels, especially with these massive Brembo brakes poking out front. It's a little bit more aggressive. Still have this traditional waterfall Buick grille, but you've got these fake hood louvers, which I remember in the old Buicks were actually real, but now they're just for style. Same thing with this one. So yeah, when you see it coming behind you in the rearview mirror, it looks pretty badass. There are 3 drive modes on the Buick Regal GS, and that's what makes it fun. There's a touring mode, which is what I'm in, and that's basically everyday, comfortable, kind of drive across the country mode. Now I can hit this button over here and I get sport mode, and that makes things a little bit more fun. It firms up the suspension, and it gives me a little bit more control. The best button though is this one marked GS, and that changes a lot of things. It changes the steering, makes it much more firm. It holds shift longer, and of course it stiffens up the suspension even more, so that now that I'm starting to flog it, I can really feel the difference. And especially if you get the all-wheel drive version, you lose that kind of feeling where the car is being pulled instead of being pushed, because in GS mode it actually appropriates more power to the rear, so it starts to feel more like a rear wheel bias sports car, which is really what you want, because let's face it, flogging a front wheel drive luxury car around is okay, but when you've got the security and the handling ability of all-wheel drive, that just makes it so much more enjoyable. Changed up the center stack, and you also changed the dashboard. It seems much simpler. What have you done to kind of improve it and modernize it?
Yep, we tried to, a couple things, bring some new technology in, and as well make it simpler and easier to use from a customer perspective. You know, keep the eyes straight ahead, be able to reach over and grab a knob and go. So 8-inch touchscreen is standard. Below that, we've simplified the radio controls, gone from 17 knobs and buttons down to 7 to make it easier to use. And then we've got a dual zone climate control system with capacitive control. So really made it simple, bigger buttons, easier to use, easier to get to. Inside, it's still a Buick. This is an American take on performance. It's not European. So while it does compete with cars like the Audi A4, this is an American version of speed. There's this cool GS button which configures this dashboard in the center to a large tachometer, which is really cool. There's an 8-inch display right here. You also have all of the standard buttons on the steering wheel, which allow you to use all the safety features, but there's still some kind of hard American plastics, like right down here, and as Nathan would say, maybe up here where he likes to rest his elbow. We add this feature we call Performance Algorithm Lift Foot, which what'll happen is if you're hard into the throttle and you have to back off for some reason to maybe to maneuver around someone, it'll keep you in gear. so that you don't get a shift and then have to get back in that gear again. So it's really great, and it's all focused on driver being in control and a fun driving experience.
Yeah, as you can tell, it's pretty tight back here. I'm tall, I'm 6'2", and my head hits the roof, my knees hit the seat where I drive, and if you're looking for a big family sporty sedan, then this is probably not it. Obviously it competes with cars like the Audi A4 and even the Lexus IS, so this is a much smaller car, and you can really tell when you get in the back seat that it's more for the front occupants than the rear seat ones. Alright guys, I've got the solo deal set up, a bit of flat road ahead of me, and I'm just going to floor it, and let's see how it does 0 to 60. Here we go. Floored. This is a front wheel drive, but I do have it in GS mode, and there is 60. Not bad at all. Check it out. 7.35, which is good given the fact that I'm not torquing the engine. I am just pounding down on the accelerator. And keep in mind that I'm a big guy and there's a lot of fuel in this car, which is also going to affect how fast it does 0 to 60. So 7.35, yeah, that's pretty quick. This is a softball question, but I always like to ask it. What's your favorite part of the car?
The GS mode.
Yeah.
I really am. So I'm driving right now, honestly, an all-wheel drive GS with 20-inch tires, and through these roads in northern Kentucky here to drive in GS mode is just a delight. It really is a great experience.
It's not like a Corvette where it completely overwhelms you with torque and massive power and just that sound of that small block V8. I mean, this is a 2-liter turbocharged engine, and here I am passing the LaCrosse, and I'm like, go, go, go. It could use another 100 horsepower. Am I being sacrilegious? Of course not. There's no such thing as too much horsepower, in my opinion. So Buick flew us out here to test drive the new Regal GS, and we only get to have it for about an hour or so, and that's really not enough time to give it a buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it rating. So for that, you'll have to come back when we have it in Colorado and we can spend a whole week with it. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Ciao. All right, here we go. I'm going to floor it in GS mode. Yeah, you know, it's kind of cool. You can hear it a little bit. Is it gonna wipe the floor with the Corvette? No, of course it's not gonna wipe the floor with the Corvette. It's a Buick. It's a fun and sporty Buick, and it's perky and it's lively and it's, you know, a hoot to drive quickly. But is it a hot rod? Honestly, I think you want to go for a Corvette if you want the hot rod of the GM brand.